everyone, Keto Comic here, and this handsome face you're looking at here is my guest on today's show, the Meister. In German, that stands for the Mister. He is a YouTuber that I've watched for many, many years, famous for his fat acceptance compilation cringe videos and exposing the dangers behind the fat acceptance movement. He has had 2 channels struck down here on YouTube. One that was over 100,000 subscribers, which was struck down by SJWs from a certain, shall we say, fringe journalism source, which he will talk about in the interview. He had built his channel back up again to almost 2,000 subscribers, and again struck down by false flagging after he appeared in the Fatopia documentary. He's now again restarted a channel called the Meister channel, which I'll link down below. Please go over and give him some likes and some subscriptions. He's now dedicated himself back to exposing the dangers of the fat acceptance movement, as well as a new movement to basically make pedophilia mainstream. So he's fighting against both those movements, so go over there and give him some support. And without further ado, one of my favorites, Meister. Got the recording on? Well, good morning, Meister. Thank you so much for agreeing to speak with me. I know you're... And you're in Germany, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. What time is it there, if you don't mind me asking?
It's about to be 8 p.m.
On Friday?
Yes, ma'am.
Cool. It's like 1 p.m. here, so thank you so much.
No problem. It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Oh, no problem. I mean, I'm going to do a nice little intro and let everybody know who you are. But you've had a couple of YouTube channels, and you've specialized in kind of exposing what I consider the lies of the fat acceptance movement. And as a result, you've made some enemies and stuff, and something recently happened to you.
A few enemies, yeah.
Yeah. So tell us your story and tell us why you got into that kind of YouTube channel, and what kind of happened with your channel here recently.
Yes, ma'am. Well, as I stated before, I am the Meister, living in Germany. I grew up in Haiti. Parents were missionaries there, and when I got to Germany, I was pretty thin. I weighed about 75 kilograms. That's about 150 pounds, and I was 6'2". And living a life in Germany, I kind of lost sight of my weight and continuing to gain weight. And I couldn't motivate myself to lose weight, so I started a YouTube channel. The first few videos was just about me talking about myself, about my weight, and trying to lose that weight, and why I felt that I had to lose weight because it was unhealthy. My son just got born. Well, during that time he was just born, and I wanted to be there for him when I got older. So I wanted to lose weight, and I used YouTube as a way to motivate myself to lose weight, and that's how I created my channel. Over the course of a few months, content changed because I was getting some backlash about my journey, about myself wanting to lose weight. There were some people giving me backlash, saying it wasn't being fat acceptance and it wasn't being body positive. And so I delved more into the movement of fat acceptance and body positivity, and what they stood for and what they used to stand for, especially body positive, what it used to stand for back in the day. And I realized that there are a lot of lies that were being spread about obesity and being overweight, and I also started seeing the body acceptance. I started seeing the fat acceptance movement grow here in Germany, and I wasn't very happy with that, because that's a lot of lies being spread. So I started to change my content and started to fight against the fat acceptance movement, and my channel grew. A lot of people watching my content got a lot of positive feedback. People were telling me about their weight loss journey and how I was motivating them to continue to lose weight. And on my channel, I had different types of videos that I would post. I would post Fat Logic is what I call it. I'm not sure. Are you familiar with Reddit?
I am. I'm a huge Redditor. I get on a lot of the subreddits, and I especially like the Tumblr cringe and things like
Hmm.
that, which I know
Yeah,
that's where you find a lot of that stuff.
yeah. I found a lot of stuff there, and I followed a lot of it on the subreddit Fat Logic.
Mhm.
And I made a video. I made a lot of videos about the content that I found on Fat Logic to kind of show what the fat acceptance movement is and what it stands for. And I also started uploading cringe compilations, which got me the most views, and it was the most provocative content that I could find. I especially made it provocative um, to get people to watch it, to get people to realize what the fat acceptance movement is preaching. And that got a lot of hate, naturally, from the fat acceptance movement, but I was exposing the fat acceptance movement, so I was okay with it. Um, Last year, at one point, I forget what date it was, you'll have to forgive me. Um, Connor, Luke Simpson,
Mhm.
got in contact with me, and he asked if I wanted to say a few words or if I want to have an interview with him for an upcoming documentary. I was skeptical at first. I thought it was a trap from the fat acceptance movement to get me to say bad things about fat people, which is what I'm not about. I myself am obese. A lot of people in my family are obese, and I would never say something about a fat person. I do not attack fat people. I attack the fat acceptance movement. And so I thought it was kind of like a trap. I was pretty nervous when I was talking to him. Um, I was very, very nervous. But it turned out good. It turned out cool. And Connor Luke Simpson is a hell of a guy. I
Oh,
know you had an interview with him.
I did. I found him very, very approachable, very down to earth for a film
Yeah,
director. I was
exactly. Yeah.
expecting him just to kind of blow off a small YouTuber's request for an interview, but he was all about it because he really wants to get the message out there.
Exactly. I totally agree with him, and I agree with the way that he approaches the subject. I have a different approach. As I said before, my approach is more provocative. He wants to hear both sides, which I am totally for. Um, anyway, sorry, a bit of a tangent there. Um,
No problem.
anyway, so I
That's
did an
why I'm doing
interview
this.
with
I
him.
want you to speak. I want you to speak and tell exactly what's on your mind because I know you haven't had the opportunity to do that.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I really do. Yeah, a few weeks later, I don't know how it started. I think it was I did a compilation about a certain YouTuber, and I had already included BuzzFeed, several of the BuzzFeed videos in my compilations. And this YouTuber, she was a pretty small YouTuber, about I don't know 3,000 followers. She got in contact with BuzzFeed somehow, and they had written an article about cringe compilations and fat acceptance cringe compilations.
Hmm.
And uh, editor from BuzzFeed wrote me an email, and he wanted me to comment on that article, which I did happily. I thought, what's the worst that could happen? Um, so I answered the questions that he had sent me, and he totally took them out of context and in the article, and it was an article about free speech, fair use, and cringe compilations. And I would have to say, in 24 hours, I suddenly got um, copyright strikes on my channel like I've never had before,
Hmm.
and YouTube took down my channel because of that
Oh,
article.
because of a BuzzFeed article.
Yes, ma'am. Uh,
Wow.
They had
Yeah.
talked about me in that article, and they had written about my channel because I was one of the channels that made the cringe compilations, which a lot of people were watching, and that seemed to upset BuzzFeed, and it seemed to upset um, well, I knew that it would upset the Fed acceptance movement, but it really upset BuzzFeed, and they somehow got their, this is my interpretation, they got their readers to copy strike my channel, and it got taken down. I appealed, of course, but I don't have the clout that BuzzFeed has, so, you know.
Right. Well,
Mhm.
well, the fact that BuzzFeed is, had to lay off a bunch of people and is essentially bankrupt should let everybody know what kind of journalism they do.
Yes, ma'am.
So I think it's all about, I'm going to use a term that I don't really like, social justice warrior, but it seems to me it's a bunch of social justice warriors that just want to put their side out there. They don't want to hear the real side, both sides, not necessarily the real side, but both sides. And it doesn't surprise me that they would want to silence you because you actually came after them for taking you out of context.
Yeah, exactly. That's my thoughts exactly.
Yeah.
But it was a shock, and I was disappointed that YouTube caved in. I didn't give my appeal a chance, but I can understand it. YouTube needs to make their money, needs to keep the revenue in, and my content was very provocative, so a lot of none of it was monetized. I was doing it because I was I'm sorry, the English word escapes me at the moment. I was convinced of what I am doing.
Right.
I believe that it is important to expose this movement because this movement is getting a lot of traction, in my opinion, and I believe it is a detriment to society.
Yeah.
And that's the way that I see that I can fight it. I'm not the best man with words, but I found the videos that got people's attention and finally exposed a lot of the movement, and I thought it was. I still believe that it's very, very important.
I do too, and don't get me started on YouTube and their system. Well, you and I would need to have a couple of beers, and we could talk about that for hours, and we'd probably get struck down for use of profanity. So it's like, so I understand, but yeah, and what I don't understand is why they get angry about compilations. You're just taking their public service announcements, their videos, and you're just interweaving them together. You're essentially just exposing them by showing what they do. You're not really adding any. You're not adding You're adding a little bit of commentary, but not much. You're really just blasting people with what they're already putting out there. And so I don't. If it's cringy, it's cringy, and I don't understand how they can get so upset because you're just showing what they do.
Yeah, exactly. It's not very original for me, to be honest. Not too much originality, but as you were saying, I do expose them through their own words, through their own actions, and I don't know why they get upset. Oh, I get it that they get upset, but it's their own words.
Yeah.
Right? So,
yeah. And it's dangerous. I mean, obesity is the second leading cause of preventable death, second only to smoking in the Western world right now.
Yes, exactly.
And health at every size, though there are people that are healthy at every size, I'm going to say that, that are healthy right now at every size, like in this moment, but that won't always be the case. You cannot consistently maintain health at 500 pounds. I'm sorry, it's just not possible.
Yeah. That's the same thing with cigarettes. Like you said before, smoking, next to smoking, is the leading cause of cancer and death in the Western world. People, just because some people smoke a pack a day and don't show up cancer, or smoke 5 packs a day and don't exactly show cancer in the next 5 minutes, doesn't mean that these people are healthy or will be healthy tomorrow. They may be healthy today, but just because of smoke, you get what I'm saying.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm really having difficulties with English today. I'm sorry.
You don't have to apologize at all, man. I appreciate you doing this. And I can contest to that. My father smoked for 40 years. He was fine. Now in his 60s, he has COPD and emphysema, and it will probably be what takes his life. And I see him slowly suffocate to death, and I don't want to see that happen, which is why we have to curb smoking. The same with being obese.
Exactly. Smoking is already shunned by society. I mean, we have packs on every cigarette pack here in Germany. We have pictures of people, these kind of pictures that show the bad side of smoking. And there's no commercial on TV allowed for smoking and stuff like that. We already curbed that stuff here in Germany, the smoking part. Um, of course, we can't curb the eating, definitely not. But we need to spread awareness on obesity even more. Because we'll have movements like the fat acceptance movement that deny that being overweight, being extremely obese is dangerous.
I,
We need, as a society, we need to fight against that.
I totally agree. We see the PSAs against smoking, the truth campaigns and stuff like
Yeah.
that. We see, this is your brain on drugs, those types of
Yes.
PSAs.
Yeah.
Why don't we see that
Yeah.
for obesity? Why don't we see somebody just go ape shit and start beating up, I don't know, marshmallows and whipped cream and shit. This is your body. This is your body with too much fat. We should
Yeah.
see stuff like that.
That's a good idea, especially but we don't. That's the thing. And as soon as you talk against it, you get shunned on social media for being, I don't know. I was called a Nazi just because I was talking about being obesity being something bad for a person's health. I don't know how I'm the Nazi by doing that. I can't explain why people would call me a Nazi anyway, but shaking my head when I really, I mean, I'd heard it before. I'd heard somebody in my comments, tell me that people were calling me Nazi, but when Connor told me that during my interview, it was the first time I really realized that there are people really outside there calling me Nazis, and they meant it as well. I was like, how crazy do you have to be to call me a Nazi?
Well,
I like the furthest thing from a Nazi that's possible.
Okay, well, they get all over you for discriminating against fat people and being mean to fat people, quote unquote. And I'm large too. I'm on a way. I'm down from almost 400 pounds, but I'm still at 250. I've still got a long way to go.
Good
But
for you, though.
they get on to you for being cruel to overweight people, but yet they're calling you a Nazi and you're German. To me, that's even more tasteless.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah. Well, it's easy to call people Nazis nowadays. It's like a tactic to shut people up, if you ask me. We have Nazis out there, definitely, and we got some bad people out there, definitely. I'm not disputing that, but just calling everybody who doesn't agree with you a Nazi is like not the way to go.
No, it's not. It's very overused. So is here in the United
Exactly.
States, Nazi, white nationalist. It's all overused. I mean, just because somebody doesn't agree with you doesn't mean that they're spewing hate speech.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially on something like this. I mean, documented medical facts that obesity is bad for you.
But I'm sure you've also seen this before, that they're disputing the medical, they're disputing science, stuff like that, and it's getting more and more, and it kind of reminds me of flat earthers or the anti-vax movement, disputing science. I can't stand for that.
No, that's wrong, and I wish the American Medical Association would take a stand against it, or the American Heart Association, or someone that's in that fight. But I think right now it's all about PR and being as PC as possible. And I think you and I agree that a person should not be discriminated against or being cruel to because of their size. We're both on that. No one's to be shamed.
No, I don't like that at all. I don't even like that when people. I've witnessed this before, that people yell at out of the car to a person that's overweight, or make fun of people on the street that are overweight. I hate that. I definitely do. What I make fun of, and I try to make this clear even more now, is I make fun of the fat acceptance movement. I do not make fun of people who are overweight. I can't stand that. Maybe I should make that even more clear in my videos, and I will be doing that in the future. I can't stand people who make fun of people who are overweight. I cannot. I hate it. I don't like people who make fun of people who are disabled. I don't like people who make fun of people of a different color or a different culture. I hate that kind of stuff.
Me too. And I kind of attack. I've done a few cringe compilations, not many, but mainly I I take on two YouTubers that are nutbangers. They're pretty
Yeah,
large YouTubers that
yeah,
um, really just shine a positive light on living that kind of lifestyle and eating for a
yeah,
living at a
exactly.
dangerous size. I do make fun of them all the
Yeah,
time, but it's just them. It's not fat people in general. And I want that, but I get a lot of flack for that too. So I understand, but we're all trying to preach the same message: love
yeah,
yourself, but love yourself enough to do what's healthy for yourself.
exactly. I like that. I like that. You love yourself enough, to do something about, the overweight. Yeah, I was watching your videos earlier before we were starting the interview, and I do like your content. I am subscribed to you. I hope you know that.
Oh, that's awesome. I was subscribed to both your channels. I used to watch you quite a bit when you're on, I think, one of your biggest channels, and then
Yeah,
I was looking for you and you were gone, and then
yeah,
I found you again on a smaller channel,
yeah.
and
Yeah, it
then
got taken. That
it
one
was
got
fun.
taken down. Yeah, exactly. I don't know why that one got taken down. It happened suddenly. I didn't get any copyright strikes or anything like that. It was like I just got an email from YouTube. Your channel was terminated for breaking some law. I don't know. Uh, you
Lord.
know. Oh well, it's what it is. What it is.
Are you going to come back with another channel here or on YouTube or on another platform?
I am already back on YouTube. I haven't loaded. I only uploaded that one quick shout out video that I did. Um, I am back on YouTube. I'm at the Meister's channel now.
Okay.
It's gonna do a lot of more. Sorry, I'm gonna do more Fat Logic videos and also currently diving into the map movement. Have you heard about the map movement?
No, I haven't. What, you have to explain that to me.
All right, map movement is the minor attracted person movement, and it's getting big on Twitter because it got kicked out of Tumblr. It's these pedophile acceptance movement, the pedophile positivity movement, which is it is freaky and it is the craziest thing that I ever heard of. And
Oh man,
yeah,
fuck that. Fuck that. That's
that,
that's that's no. That's
that
oh my god. I can't
yeah.
believe that that's even a thing.
Yeah, you should really, if you have, whenever you have time, go check it out on Twitter. Give it a hashtag map or no map. That is the craziest. If you want to, if you want to have nightmares, if you want to have nightmares, go check that out. That's like the craziest thing I ever heard. And I'm diving into that, figuring out what's going on there. I'm going to do some videos on that, and I'm going to do some videos, of course, about the fat acceptance movement. But I wanted to diversify my content a little bit going forward.
Awesome.
But
I'm
I'm
gonna
not going to give up the fight, and I'll continue doing that.
thank you. I'm glad you know. I've always enjoyed your content. Please stay
Thank
with
you.
it, and I will definitely be shooting out your new channel to all my subscribers
Thank
and
you.
giving you as many shout outs as I can. I think you do
Thank
great work. I love your
thank you.
channels.
Thank you.
And
Stop complimenting me.
oh, it's just
If I
it's
were
like
able to turn red, I'd be red right now.
oh well no, you have to realize since starting YouTube, I've been a huge fan of YouTube since the beginnings, like watching
Mhm.
it. But I've only since 2016 done my own channel, and so being able to actually talk with people that I've watched for years, it kind of like so there's still a little bit of that that hero worship there, so to speak. So, but I'm a huge fan, and I will definitely be giving you a shout out. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. Awesome talking to you.
Awesome
And
talking to you, man.
should repeat this in the future, especially over some beers. You get some beers on the Says, I'll have a beers on my desk, and we'll talk about YouTube and stuff like that.
Exactly. I would love to. I would love to. We'll turn on the camera and we'll just speak our truth about that.
Yes, that sounds awesome. That's
Well,
also
thank you.
one of the things that I would definitely want to do in the future going forward is have such stuff like live streams, talking with somebody on over Skype or whatever. That's one thing I want to do, unedited, just raw footage, raw dialogue going on for it. It's one of the things that I
Oh,
definitely
yes.
want to start it.
I would love to do that. And I'm actually throwing around with some live streaming on another platform, which I'm not going to announce right yet because I'm just now getting all that set up. But I'm going to
So,
do some streaming on another platform where it's not quite as heavily censored. And I would love to have you over there at some point. Believe me.
if hit me up, hit me up. You got my Skype, got my Instagram. Whenever I have time, I'm happy to do stuff like that.
All right, man. Thank you so much for taking time out to come on and chat with me.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Uh,
I wish you. What do you say? Broken leg tomorrow?
Oh, break a leg. Yes,
Break a
thank
leg.
you.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, man.
All right, take care. All right.
Have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.